It's 2025 end of season picks and predictions episode of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code PLGP to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, March the 24th, possibly. We are here to... Oh, I got the nod of approval there off Baz. We are here to just have a little look around what's up for grabs between now and the end of the season. Obviously, the biggest prize in world football has gone with Newcastle United winning the Carabao Cup final last weekend in our nation's capital. But there's still some stuff, there's some trinkets available to be won. So me and Barry thought we would look around any division, any market. There was the remit we gave each other was pick anything you want. We haven't discussed this either. We like these shows. Maybe build some little accumulator, stuff like that. So we try and find some value. I've got everything from 4 to 5 all the way up to 66 to 1. So I've got all the price ranges factored in. So whatever you want, I'm your man tonight. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Pernaluna. Barry, what's happening?
Evening. Are we all walking in a Tuchel wonderland tonight, Malcolm? 2 wins from 2.
Well, I'll tell you what I watched all night in a bit, but I haven't watched a single minute of international football since we last wasted half an hour of everybody's life last week when we did that show. I haven't watched a bit of it, Baz, and I was delighted not to. So, yeah, I'm guessing, did they win then?
Yeah, won 3-0 tonight. I mean, as you know, I'm not normally too bothered, but there's been not a lot else to do, is there? I enjoyed watching Scotland get beat 3-0 off Greece the other day. That was quite funny. So I did. To be honest, I watched the second half of the England game just whilst I was in the bath. Looked very much like every other England game. Just nothing.
That's the problem. Thing is, what are the other alternatives though? When you're at home to Latvia, literally, what are the alternatives?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like people are expecting all sorts, but you know, every time you play one of these teams, they're going to play the same way, and you've just got to break them down. And it's not particularly attractive to watch, but it's what you've got to do in it. So, yeah, it is what it is. 2 wins. Move on.
I missed Big Dan Burns' debut on Friday. Did you watch Dan get a game?
Dan done all right, yeah. He had an all right game. Nearly scored as well. He hit the bar, didn't he? Got his big head on one.
Yeah, I saw that. I was in Sheffield on Friday. Had a first job I've had for ages at a 50th birthday party. Fuckers, Barry. Nowhere to park, right? It was a bit like Osborne Road. I was upstairs in an Italian restaurant, and it was like I say, on a main drag, nowhere to park. So I parked about 3 streets away. It was free after 8 p.m. But you could only park for 2 hours. Yeah, you would laugh, Barry, laugh it up. So I parked the van at 5:53. Paid for my 2 hours, which obviously ran out at 7:53. And then I had to go in and start work. So there was a 7-minute window in which I was uncovered. And I thought, I mean, I'm a long shot. It's a longer shot than any prices were picked on here. Thought I'm a long shot to get caught by the checkie in that 7-minute window. Emerged from work at 10:30 to go and retrieve the van. Fucking parking ticket. You must be stood there waiting for that 7 minutes on a Friday night, Barry. You're for a working man, working class hero, as we previously discussed on this show. I'm out there greasing the cogs of industry. And that shyster stood there in the 7 minutes that I wasn't covered on a Friday night and gave me a ticket, Barry. What do you think of that? Thatcher's Britain, innit?
Scandalous. What time was the ticket produced?
8:04.
Well, I thought it was free after 8 o'clock.
Well, that's exactly what it was.
So can you not appeal it? Surely
Well,
the
I
ticket.
don't know. Well, here's the thing. I would have appealed it, but you know how very, very sensible the IT department is. Not a risk taker at all. She had it paid before I got out of bed on Saturday, before I could even kick off. Like, I came in at 1 o'clock in the morning, left it on the side. Like, I've then got up at 10 a.m. and she's paid it. So,
Well,
like,
funny enough, Malcolm, that's the sensible thing to do, because will you not believe what I've got in my hand at the moment?
What?
It's a parking notice.
Yeah.
And if you look at the price, how much was your parking ticket?
It was 25 quid if I paid it within the 28 days. What you
Yeah.
up to?
And you know what happens if you don't?
Double bubble.
Double bubble. So there's mine, Malcolm, 50 quid. Because I forgot about it. So I got a parking ticket about 6 weeks ago. Stuck it in the glove box, forgot all about it, and then I got a letter in the post just yesterday. No, not yesterday. Must have came this morning, and says I owe £50 now. So Laura's the smart one there. She saved you £25,
Yeah,
whereas I've just
play, yeah. I'll
I've
take
just
it all
got
back.
wallet for the 50.
I'll go upstairs and tenderly kiss her forehead, Barry, by way of thanks when we finish this show. Well, that went off track. Didn't expect to have a parking ticket chat, but there you go. Ian Lights Out was first in the chat. Ian, how you doing? Lee Smudger was in. Callum's in. James Mafia. Austin wants to know what vegetables you've got. Andy Barry. Pete's Picks. Pete's Picks gone cold since Cheltenham. But he's going to reload. We'll do a little Grand National bit this time next week. I'll get back in touch with Pete and we'll throw out some Grand National picks as well. Yeah, it's the flat starts this weekend. The first leg of the spring double with the Lincoln at Doncaster. I did go and see some football, Baz. The kids had loads of football. Bob had a 7 o'clock kickoff last night, Baz. Sunday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. And only in the afternoon did they move it forward from an 8 o'clock kickoff. In South Shields, I wasn't thrilled. I was not thrilled at all to be traipsing out at that time on a Sunday night. And they got beat 3-0 off Sunderland in the local derby. So that was sour times for everyone. They never got a kick, really. Sunderland were quite good. But on Saturday afternoon, I went to watch Dunstan, Baz. I was in the Northern Premier League, Dunstan UTS against Bradford Park Avenue. Dunstan making a run for the playoff. Dunstan won 2-1. It was a good game. I took the lads. I took Bob and 3 of his mates. And, in fact, Betty came with one of her mates. It was like a school trip. Me and Johnny Big Shades went and took 6 kids with us. But it was good. It was competitive. The lads enjoyed being that close to grown men thundering into each other, and you can hear every complaint, every noise, every tackle, the chirping on at each other. So they were sort of sat as good budding footballers, kind of wide-eyed at this hard-fought game of football. Bradford Park Avenue had Mark Beavers playing for them, 35-year-old centre-back. Over 500 Football League appearances, Mark Beavers. Talking about gnarly old professionals, you think he played over 400 times for Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton, Millwall, somebody else in there. So yeah, it was a really good game. Enjoyed that a lot, Baz. But I didn't watch any international football at all. I was all very much footballed out. But I did watch tonight, Baz. Have you not watched any of the Baller League tonight?
No, I'm not having anything to do with that.
Oh, me. Well, I watched it because it's quite fun to watch with the kids.
Nah.
Obviously, you get to the age now where the kids have got no interest in talking to you or interacting with you in any way, shape, or form. So we watched the draft a couple of weeks ago. So the ball, I don't know if there'll be a lot of people who don't know what it is, especially across
I'm not
the
listening.
pond.
I can't believe you're talking about this.
No, you see, Callum's got it on.
No.
It's a 6-a-side league where it's obviously just a lot of fun, a lot of razzmatazz. Very American, actually. You'd enjoy it. But it's YouTube creators who are the managers. There's some ex-footballers. John Terry's got a team. Alan Shearer's got a team. The usual suspects: Angry Ginge, the Sidemen, Chunks, all your favourite creators, Baz. have got a team in it. And it's been good crack to play 6-a-side, 15 minutes each way. You can bet on it. I only realised it was on, Baz, because I had Bet365 open, looking for picks for tonight. And obviously when I clicked on football, Baller League popped up. I was like, there's no way they're betting on that. But you can. They have different rules. The last 3 minutes of the game, they have something called a game changer, where they'll add a new rule in, where it might be 3-a-side, or goals are double if you score from outside the box.
I can't believe
You're not having it, are you?
I can't believe you've just wasted 5 minutes of this episode talking about that shite. Not having it.
Look at all the young people in the chat. They're loving this, Barry. Well, this is our target audience, Barry. The 15s to, no, they can't gamble, can they? 18 to 25. We're like the racing blogger. We are, Baz.
I mean, why didn't we get invited? Fucking.
If I give you a million guesses, Barry, the one game tonight, playing centre. So they had a draft. They drafted all the teams a few weeks ago.
Are you still talking about
a million guesses? Playing centre half tonight for one of the teams in this 6-a-side thing, where it's all really techie, like YouTube swaggy sort of proper ballers. Playing centre back was an ex-Newcastle United player in one of the games. So I'll give you one guess. He has got a very good claim to fame, actually.
Darren Peacock.
No, they're not aged. Peacock's been 63. Kieran Clark was the answer, Barry. Kieran Clark is now famous for producing the world's greatest midfielder. That's his claim to fame, because he got sent off against Norwich for Newcastle early in the game, and that sending off prompted Joe Linton to have to go into midfield. And the rest is history. He's now the world's greatest box-to-box midfielder. And all because Kieran Clark got sent off. But yeah, Henry Lansbury, do you remember him? That tit who got Paul Dummett and John Joe Shelby sent off. Michael Ndwini was drafted 4th, Baz. Michael Ndwini was on the bench for Newcastle away at PSG in the Champions League 2 years ago. He now plays for Newcastle Blue Star in Step 5. Andy Williams, who gets in the chat here, was doing the medical stuff for them. They were at Northallerton on Saturday, and Michael Ndwini was playing there at Northallerton, having been on the bench away at PSG in the Champions League. Baz, put it on next week and stop being so miserable. I'm not having it. I did consider Barry in addition to the tit list, but I don't think he's worthy of any of our time. But I did just want to mention Steve Bruce. Like, is he so thin-skinned, isn't he? Like, obviously, Dwight Gale had a bit of a pop at him, which was quite funny. And then someone asked him about it, and his reply tells you everything you need to know about the bloke. It was in the vein of Eddie Howe. Oh, that bloke from Bournemouth. He's just so thin-skinned and deeply unpleasant. What a bitter, horrible little bloke. So I considered nominating him for the tit list, but then I think that would bring him back into our world. And the last thing we need, Barry, is Steve Bruce back into our world. But I did want to point that out. So,
I thought, to be fair, what do you expect him to say when he was asked about it? Oh, Dwight Gale's called you out for being a fucking useless coach. What you got to say about it? You expect him just to take it on the chin and say no? I thought he was well entitled to have a pop back personally, so I didn't have a problem with it. I don't like the bloke, but you can't expect him to just say, "Oh, he's right. Like I'm fucking useless." What did you think he was going to say? But have a pop back? It's all fair.
It was the underhand, thin-skinned nature of it, Baz. Like there was more said in that sentence. There was more said about the man in that sentence than the actual words that came out of his mouth. Lee is having nothing at all to do with this Baller League. Get it on. It's on Sky Sports Mix now, Lee. 416.
I can't stand anything to do with those people, though, Mark. This fucking sidemen shit, whatever that means. That's not for us, Malcolm. That's not our generation.
Told you I watched it with the band, didn't I?
I know, but then you've just talked about it for 10 minutes, like you're really enthusiastic about it.
I'm explaining, right? I can't just say what it is and leave a whole host. I mean, hundreds of thousands of listeners, Barry, across the great nation of America and James in Canada. I can't leave them not knowing what it is without a full and frank explanation. It hasn't even reached off. Barry's turned his light off. It's got that bad. Fucking hell. Barry's protesting in the dark. What's happened there, Baz? Is it Halloween? Jesus, that's a terrifying thing.
You're going to have to keep talking.
Right, okay. I'll keep talking. I'll read some of these adverts. The terms and conditions of this DraftKings advert. I'll keep us going for 25 minutes. If you're looking for all of our picks and podcasts in one place, the SGPN app is where to get them. I've done 40,000 MLB shows this week, give or take. All sorts of MLB shows leading up to opening day on Thursday. So the SGPN app is where you'll find them. Right, get ready for this, beauty. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing is for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home. Bet the unexpected every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, parlays. If you're a first timer, DraftKings customers, new DraftKings customers, bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code SGP. That's SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Said slosh instead of slash then. I got all the way through to the penultimate word and I said slosh out loud. Rhythm is your home for AI picks and props. Rhythm is already off to a great start, helping you dominate March Madness. Building your own custom model is easy and profitable. They've got models for NBA golf and MLB. Hint, hint, is coming soon as well. Sign up for a free 7-day trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Courtney's joined us in the chat. Courtney, welcome along. Courtney wants Man U to concede the first goal. Not even playing, but it's a solid bet. I wouldn't put you off it. Baz, do you want to talk us through what happened with the lights there, mate?
Yes, I can tell you what happened with the lights. The lights are on a timer. So when we're away from home, the lights will come on and off.
Okay.
And they stay on a timer. But the timer's controlled by Helen on her phone. And she's in Hull at the moment. She's away visiting her mother. So I have no control over the lights. So they just come on and off as and when they please. And then I've got to get up and go and switch it back on at the switch, haven't I? Because I ain't got the control. I have no power.
Fair enough. A fascinating little look into the Penaluna family. Or is a chance? Oh, he scored. It's what's the score? It's 2-0 to Depot Trio against Vision FC there, Barry, in the old Baller League. Have you got the telly on?
Yeah, I've got Sky News on.
Right, put it on. Channel
No.
Sky Sport. You're not putting it on, are you?
No.
You're an idiot. Right, okay then. So, lots of stuff up for grabs still. So we've picked. I've made 5 or 6. You've got similar, Baz, 4 or 5. I started in the Premier League though, Baz. I had a little look and try not to make it too Newcastle heavy. And I did mention these picks on the show last week that we did. But the race for 4th and 5th place is really the sort of the hottest race there. Liverpool have got the league sewn up. The bottom 3 look like they're decided. But that 4th and 5th spot, you've got Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle and Brighton, all covered by 2 points. Newcastle have a game in hand, and it's Newcastle that I like in either of these markets, really. As I did mention last week, the 9-4 plus 225 to finish in the top 4. But I do prefer, if you want the safety net, the 4-5 minus 125 to finish in the top 5. They've got 6 of their last 10 games at home. And I just think that little springboard, the pressure's off. They've automatically qualified for Europe by virtue of winning the Carabao Cup. And it's just going to be a springboard. It could, for some teams, be a crossroads, be a fork. But I just think that Newcastle are going to kick on now. I think they'll finish strong. The good players are in good form. So, yeah, I fancy Newcastle to finish top 5 at 4-5, top 4 at 9-4, Baz, is my first play.
Have you got anything else in the Premier League?
Do you? Yes.
Good, right. So I'll put my first one out because I've got 2 Premier League things that I've looked at as well. I was looking at the top half, bottom half markets here. So teams to finish in the top half or teams to finish out of the top half. So who's in the frame? 8th to 10th is Fulham on 45 points in 8th, Villa 45 points in 9th, and Bournemouth currently sitting in 10th on 44. And then looking at who could break in, it's Brentford on 41. There's a 3-point gap between Bournemouth in 10th, Brentford in 11th. And then Palace on 39, Man United 37. Palace have got a game in hand. Game in hand is against Newcastle, but they have got a game in hand. So if they were to go and win the game in hand, they'd only be a couple of points behind Bournemouth. Couldn't condone anyone taking Man United for top half at this point. They've had some decent fixtures lately, picked up some points, but I still think they'll struggle their way to the end of the season. But Palace do interest me. They've played one last game, as I say. But they're one of the form teams at the moment. They've won 6 of their last 8, and they've just won 3 straight games in the league. And I'm looking at Bournemouth, who are 5 points ahead of Palace. Much better goal difference as well, so potentially it's almost 6 points. But they've not won in 5 games now, and they've just lost 3 of the last 4 in the league. I think Bournemouth might have run out of steam a little bit and potentially could get just dragged down towards those teams in 11th or 12th. So there's a couple of things. Palace to finish top half at 9-4 appeals to me in the form they're in. And that gives me other options. Fulham could drop out. Villa could drop out. But also Bournemouth, there is an option to sort of be replaced by Palace. So 9-4 Palace to finish in the top half is something I like. And the other thing is Bournemouth to finish bottom half. 6-1 for Bournemouth to finish bottom half. They're sitting in 10th. They've only got to drop 1 place. I think it's a bit generous in the current form they're at. And the key thing that sort of drags us towards it is they've still got to play Palace. So if Palace go and win that one, then Bournemouth are within a couple of points of Palace. There's not much in it then. So again, with Bournemouth to finish in the bottom half, I've still got Brentford could jump up above them as well. So there's other options there. So yeah, 2 picks from that market. Palace to finish in the top half at 9-4 and Bournemouth to finish in the bottom half at 6-1.
So, Baz, there's 3 minutes left in the first half here in the Bowler League, which means a new rule comes in. So the game starts with 1v1 plus the goalkeepers. And after every goal, you add a player back onto each team. So it goes 2v2, 3v3. You having a bit of that? Shit in a bag and punch it, Barry. My second pick here from the Premier League is Bournemouth to finish in the bottom half at 6-1. We've somehow landed on the same pick. It's just too big, Baz, is what it is. The much worse 6-1 shots kicking around than that. And now I'll make the same points that you made because the handicap can only be the same. 3 points above Brentford, 5 above Palace, but only 1 point in 4 games. They've got away games at Arsenal and Manchester City, and they have to go to Palace as well. So yeah, as far as 6-1 shots go, they're not all made equal. And yeah, I much prefer that. It was almost like a related contingency with you saying Palace to finish in the top half. Because if Palace get there, Bournemouth are far more likely to be the ones that drop out. And I was going to make that point, and then you got there yourself afterwards. So yeah, completely agree, Baz. Bournemouth at 6-1 to finish in the bottom half. Where are we going now?
Well, I've still got one more Premier League pick.
Oh, you've won Prem again, Baz. Yeah, go on then.
Still in the Prem, so we'll finish off there with the Premier League stuff. And I'm looking at the Liverpool winning margin. So the market for Liverpool's winning margin, so you're assuming they get well, there is an option for them not to win. So Liverpool not to win the league, 25-1. To win on goal difference, 100-1. 1 to 3 points is 25-1. 4 to 6 is 10-1. 7 to 9 points is 6-5. And 10 or more points is the favourite at 5 to 6, minus 120. So 10 or more points. Currently, they're 12 points ahead. Now, they could have it wrapped up with 4 or 5 games to go, potentially, if they're to win the next few, or Arsenal drop something along the way. Could be done and dusted early. You'd certainly expect it not to go right down to the wire the way it stands at the moment. And then there's the danger that they might just ease off. But what would they be easing off for? They're out of the Champions League now. They're out of the FA Cup. They got beaten the Carabao Cup last week by Newcastle United. And the key thing for me is, in those last games, they've still got to play Arsenal. And the fact that one's at Anfield, sort of helps with my pick here, because you've got to favour Liverpool in that tie at home. You'd always take Liverpool in the big games at Anfield. And if they win that one, then theoretically that becomes a 15-point gap. I know that's 5 games down the line. But then it's hard to see how Arsenal pick up another 6 points over Liverpool in the other remaining games. I think Liverpool to win by 10 points or more at 5-6 is the pick here. I think Liverpool could extend that 12-point margin in the next few weeks anyway. They probably will have it sewn up quickly, but I don't see them bending over and letting Arsenal beat them at Anfield, at which point you could be cashing your winner already. So yeah, pick for me, Liverpool's winning margin to be 10 points or more.
Yeah, I just thought, looking at Liverpool, obviously last week when they lost in the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle United, were dominated by Newcastle United in that Carabao Cup final. I don't know if anyone saw it. I just thought maybe they ran out of steam a little bit, and they even looked a little bit thin on the ground, like in terms of squad players. I think the second half, Liverpool go to the bench, and I'm thinking, oh shit, here we go. Who they're bringing on? And it was Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, and I'm thinking, Christ, if fucking Everton were bringing them on, it wouldn't bother me. Like, so that certainly wasn't going to bother me. But yeah, I didn't look into that at all. But no strong opinions on what their attitude will be, frankly, between now and the end of the season. But yeah, right, they've got bugger all else to play for. It's just free shot after free shot. It's entirely attitude. It's entirely how they want it to finish. So Lee's excited for them to go into complete meltdown. And then Callum has to come back on the show shamefaced. Andy's joined us, Andy Williams. We did mention earlier on, Andy, about Michael and Winnie. Barry was having nothing to do with the Baller League whatsoever. We'll see where our next picks take us. Let me tell you first about Underdog Pick'em. You can play any sport, win up to 100 times your money. The thing to do is use our code to sign up, which is PLGP. You get a special pick, first time deposit offer, up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the Premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstake, racetrack, casino. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money's safe as the card is FDIC insured. No credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Baz, what's happened with the old sourdough starter, please?
It's going well. We've got it right back on track. So although I'd said the second incarnation of it had failed, it hadn't. I got it back to life. It's being fed every 24 hours at the moment, and it's bubbling away. It's lively. It's coming to life now. So a couple of more days, I reckon, and it'll be fully developed.
Have I asked you this before? What do you feed it?
Flour and water. So it's basically flour and water to start, and then you take out half of it every day and then replace it with fresh flour and water stirred up. And then it just starts to bubble, and eventually it'll double in size every day. It'll double in size because it's full of whatever. It's almost like fermenting, isn't it? It's going to be good. Like I'll show you. I'll be making some bread next week with it. Just you wait.
Okay. I saw Emma the other day at football, actually. What's the keeper called? Darren's dad?
Lewis,
yeah. I saw him make a couple of good saves, actually. I had a bit crack on with Emma. This is just sort of chat you'd have in the pub. I saw one of Barry's distant relations on Saturday morning down at Walker Riverside. So there you go. That's good content for everyone.
I tell you what, you can tell there's no meaningful football on this week. Like this has been awful.
Serial wants to break down Australia v China. I'll tell you what won't happen. China won't score. Heck hell. Again, last week they got beat something nil. 3 billion of them. Not one of them prepared to get across the front post. Absolutely ridiculous. Into the championship, Baz. I did look at Burnley to get promoted here. I thought there might be kind of a working man's price, like a shade of odds on or even money, because I don't think they're going to make the top two. And then the playoffs is a bit of a crapshoot. But they weren't. They were 1-3, minus 300. So I had to get away from Burnley, Lee. So I looked at the relegation market, Baz, because it's much more fun down there. And I said I went to Dunstan with Johnny Big Shades on Saturday. Johnny Big Shades is a season ticket holder at Stoke City. And he couldn't tell me how fucked they were in more explicit terms. He said they're absolutely shite and they're gone and they're dead and buried. If it's good enough for John, it's good enough for me. So I had a little look. And he's kind of right. They're not in good form at all. The fixtures look really tough. They play the top two still. They play Leeds and Sheffield United. But then they're away from home at the two teams immediately below them, Cardiff and Derby. Horrible, horrible games. Stoke to get relegated is 9-4 plus 225. And like I say, John was completely and utterly out on them. So, yeah, I quite like Stoke to go down, Baz, at 9-4.
Yeah, so I've got a championship pick as well. And I did go with Burnley. I thought the race for the top two was worth looking at. You just said you've ruled Burnley out of top two, but I don't know why you would.
All right, okay.
It's wide open. I mean, it's 2 from 3, Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley. And there's only 2 points covering the 3 sides. Burnley are currently out of it in 3rd place. But they're the team I fancy here. 6-5 underdogs of the 3 to finish in the top 2. Leeds are 1-20. Sheffield United are 8-13. Burnley 6-5. 1-20 Leeds is ridiculously short for a team with just a 2-point cushion, albeit the best goal difference as well. So it's almost a 3. But you wouldn't want to be at 1-20 with such a small margin for them to drop out of the top 2. If you were giving me the other side of that at 14-1, if I could lay that anywhere near 1-20, I think you're getting good value there. You know, it might not be a winner, but it's a price. But anyway, back to the pick. For me, Burnley top 2. They're 2 points behind, but with a much better goal difference than Sheffield United. There's a fixture coming up between the two. It's Burnley at home. So Burnley win that fixture. They're into the top 2. And they actually won the away fixture against Sheffield United earlier in the season, 2-0. Burnley have still only lost 2 games all season and conceded just 11 goals. With that sort of record, they're not going to drop that many points. And if they beat Sheffield United, I think they'll finish above them. I love this pick. I think Burnley for top 2 at 6-5 looks a great price for me.
Okay, like that, Baz. Serial, the pick on that game is Australia to win without conceding at plus 136. You want Argentina beat Brazil now? Jesus. Barry, you do that one. Bootle's joined us. I mentioned that because Bootle says, congratulations to Newcastle on the cup win. Great for neutrals. Well overdue and deserved. Yes, thank you very much, Bootle. If you want to talk about it for upwards of 2 hours, we can. I've watched it. How many times you watched it, Baz?
Well, I did watch it again at the weekend, to be honest, because there was nothing else on. So many times, let's just say.
Yeah, agree. I've watched it about 1,500 times so far. Right, League One, Baz, we'll go to. Again, the top sort of automatic promotion didn't interest me, but it was the playoffs, Baz, and this is the 66-1 shot. The fucking price here is an absolute madness. We talked about Bournemouth being too big at 6s earlier on. The tip is Reading to be promoted at 66-1. Now, you can water it down slightly and get Reading to finish in the top 6 at 7-1. But mate, it's 100% worth a fiver at 66-1. They're 2 points outside the top 6 at the minute. 2 points outside the top 6. They are unbeaten in 10 games. If they were in the playoff positions now, there's no way they'd be 66-1. If they finish in there, like, what's the longest shot outsider going to be from a field of 4 in the playoffs? Like, the absolute rags of the field, finish 6 are going to be 92, 5-1, something like that.
Are they not at some sort of risk of going out of business in the next week, Malcolm? Is that not the problem here?
Bollocks to that. They're absolutely fine, man.
They're going to go the way of Bury, man. They're about to die.
They're not that fine. The teams above them, Bolton have lost the last 2. Huddersfield have lost 4 out of the last 6. As a comparison, in League 2, Colchester are 1 point outside the playoffs. They're 7-1. So I'm not having it. I spoke again. I've feet on the ground tonight, Baz. I spoke to my Reading supporting friend, Chinny, and he's got no problem with that at all. So again, even with the little risk, Andy's saying there they've got 14 days to sell. 66-1 when the news comes out tomorrow that a buyer's been found. Great price, Baz. Absolutely great price. So that's my League 1 pick. What you got?
Nothing in League 1. I'm going into League 2 now. Are you done with League 1?
I think I'm done with the BFL altogether, Baz.
Yeah, so I'm into League 2 here. Where are we? League 2. Here's the top of the League 2 table. Walsall, top of the league, 70 points. Bradford City, second, 69 points. You've then got AFC Wimbledon, Port Vale on 64. Doncaster, 63. Notts County down in 6th on 62. So Walsall, top of the league. They've been top pretty much all season. But at the turn of the year, after Christmas, they were 12 points clear at the top of the league, Walsall. They've not won in 6 league games. They've won only 2 of their last 13 games in the league now. And currently just 1 point clear of Bradford City. The price is Walsall to finish top of the league, 4-6. Bradford City, 5-2. Doncaster are third favourites at 9-1. Doncaster are down in 5th, but they do have a game in hand. That would put them up into third, 3 points behind Bradford City. But that form for Walsall, honestly, they've dropped off a cliff since New Year. And it's not short term. It's a slide that's going to be very, very hard for them to turn around. And I'm just struggling to justify them as favourites, 4-6 in this sort of form. If you look at the current form table, the last 6 games, Bradford are down in... Walsall are down in 18th. Bradford, who are the team hunting them down, are up in 2nd in the form table. I just think Bradford have got to be the pick to pip Walsall at the top of League 2. Obviously, Walsall have absolutely lost the plot. Bradford to win Division 2 at 5-2 for me.
I didn't notice Walsall had lost the plot when I looked at the little colour-coded league thing, and it was reds all hour. I did spot that. Same for Gateshead. Gateshead got taken over this week, and I thought they might provide some good value, but they've lost 3 home games in a row, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on them. Right, Baz, there's no such thing as corners, Baz, but if you get 3 corners, it's a penalty. What do you think of that?
No comment.
You having that? Barry's not having that.
I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear what you said.
Absolute morose get you are. Into the Champions League, Baz, for me. Actually, not into Champions League. Into Europe. I looked at the Champions League, but I couldn't get away from Barcelona in the bracket.
Well, you should have done what
3-1
I did.
was a boring pick. However, I looked at the Europa League. I also picked the favourite, but I was happy with the handicap of this one. It's Athletic Bilbao, Baz, so it is another jolly. They're 130 plus 333. They're the best team left in this competition by as far as a farm boy can throw an apple. Like they're 4th in La Liga, Baz. Only 4 defeats in their 28 games domestically. They're 8 points clear of 5th place. They're only 4 points off Atletico, and we've all been very impressed with Atletico up at the top end of that league and against Real in the Champions League. We've seen how good they are. Opposition, the teams at the top of the market behind them, Man United and Tottenham, are absolutely cack. Lazio are 6th in their league, which isn't as strong. Rangers, no thanks. Lyon are also around in France. In Frankfurt, just aren't up to this level. So I thought Bilbao at 130 were a cracking price, Pass.
Well, I didn't go for Europa League, but I have got the Champions League. So you talked about Barcelona, so that helps. But I've looked at...
Sorry. Lee points out that the final is in Bilbao, which I should have known, but I didn't. So there you go. That's another little tick in a box, Baz. Cheers, Lee.
So you might like this one. The market I've gone for in the Champions League is the nationality of the winner. You've got Spain at 11-10, France 100-30, Germany 9-2, England at 5s, Italy at 10s. And I like the plus money for Spain, a Spanish team to win it. The Spanish teams have won 7 of the last 11 anyway. Barcelona and Madrid can't face each other till the final. And don't get me wrong, they've both got some hurdles to overcome. I can't see Barcelona struggling against Dortmund. It is Bayern or Inter in the semi-finals, and to be honest, wouldn't put it past Inter going far into this with a defensive record. But I think there's a good chance of Barca getting to the final. Real Madrid obviously got to get past PSG, who I think are actually favourites now on that side of the draw. But to have both of them running for you, and the potential, you could be paid out as soon as the semi-finals are finished. You could have a Real Madrid-Barcelona final, and you're cashed out at that point. I'll have the Spanish side to win the Champions League at 11-10. I think it's a great price to have one of those two sides running for you.
That, Barry, is an excellent bet. I might stick that in my little lacquer. I looked at the Conference League, Baz, but we have given Chelsea out a couple of times earlier in the season, round about sort of 15-8, 2-1. They're now trading at 2-1 on, and by far the most likely winner. So even if they have gone off the boil, they'd have to absolutely blow up to not be able to beat the rubbish that's left in that competition. So I didn't get much further with the Conference League, Baz, and that was me done. The little lacquer I put together from those picks was Newcastle to finish in the top 5, Stoke to be relegated, and Bilbao to win the Europa League. That pays 25-1, but I like your 11-10 shot, Baz, of a Spanish winner. So making that a fourfold would get that up to about 55-1 roundabout. So yeah, I like that, Baz. Did you have anything else at all?
No. In terms of picks, that is me done.
Excellent. Do you have anything else you would like to discuss before we let the people go?
I've got a quiz question for you. I've had the same dinner for 4 days in a row. Same main meal for 4 days in a row, Malcolm. What do you think it is?
You've had the same dinner for 4... Right, do you mean tea, not
tea?
Lunch?
I'm saying dinner because other people are listening, yeah.
So, because I'll do this, Barry. You've clearly made a big pan of something on, what day is it now? Monday. So Friday, you've clearly made a big pan of something on Friday night. And yeah, so Bootle's way off with beans on toast. It's something like a curry, a chili. I don't think, but if you've done it, it'll be something a bit Tory. It won't just be, he hasn't just made a chicken curry. He's made something a little bit Tory. Like, it's going to be something like a jambalaya or something, Baz. I'm going to go with a, you could have made a big pie, bit of pulled pork, something from the butcher's. Might be a chili, you know. Callum's gone with a bolognese. Barry chuckling away. This is Barry's favourite part of the show. He does like putting a little bit of brisket in his chili with it, along with the mince. That is an option. I'm gonna stick with. Oh, Barry. I'm gonna go with the fish stew. You've made a fish stew.
A fish stew. I didn't expect it to take you so long, to be honest, to get an answer out of you. But
I wanted to get it right.
You're wrong. It was Lee Smith's the winner in the chat with the chicken curry.
Fuck off.
I made a lovely homemade curry from scratch. All the whole spices in there, and fresh tomatoes, chicken, big bag of spinach. Absolutely beautiful curry. And I've got a little jar of this Mr. Naga chili paste, a chili pickle. Ooh. It's absolutely amazing. When the kids or Helen are having curry, then I'll just put mine in a separate little pan and just put half a teaspoon of this stuff. and it absolutely just fucking fires it up. It's amazing. It's an absolute game changer. But as it happens, I made the curry and nobody else has fancied it, so I've had to eat it 4 days in a row. But I've quite enjoyed it, to the point where I'm actually thinking of making another batch of curry tomorrow because I'm enjoying it that much. So it might end up being 8 days in a row. Who knows?
I'm a big fan of eating the same thing several times in a row, Baz. I do it a lot. Andy's absolutely smashing the place up because he reckons he got that before Lee. There's been a steward's inquiry in the comments, Baz. Would you
Well,
care
I mean,
to
he did have 3 guesses, so he voided himself, didn't he?
He voided him. Yeah, to be fair, you had about 19 guesses, Andy. So yeah, you can sod off. Lee gets the 1 show point. You can add that to your totally. Hopefully there'll be some football at the weekend, and you won't have to put up with any of this shit. What's the weekend FA Cup?
FA Cup this weekend, yeah. So is it
No.
another one of
Oh,
them?
midweek, Baz. That's fun.
Premier League is midweek, yes.
First.
Actually, I'm not around next week. I'm in Liverpool on the night that Liverpool play Everton at Anfield.
All right.
So that's interesting. What that means is my hotel price is fucking ridiculous, but thankfully we're paying for it.
Are you not coming up for the Cup parade at the weekend?
Oh, I'll be there, yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna?
Yeah.
Do you have any plans?
No. Drive up to Newcastle on
Okay.
Friday night, and then drive back on Saturday night afterwards because we've got football at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Oh, nice.
But,
Yeah, I'll have to get away quick from the parade. I'm at Knaresborough Town again on Saturday. It's Knaresborough Town's end of season do. And they booked the casino, so I'm taking the casino down to Knaresborough Town. So I'm going to watch. The plan was to watch the game in the afternoon, and then do the party. But I might have to not go down as early because I want to watch the parade. Like, so we'll see. Right. Thank you very much, Barry. That was fun. I think there's some winners in there. I like that. As long as Reading don't go bust, 66-1's a winner. Bournemouth to finish in the bottom half's a beauty as well. It's 5-3. There's one bloke on each team, Barry, now, but they have to stop in their own half. It's 6. It was 2-2 about 40 seconds ago. It's now 6-3.
what a load of nonsense.
So, yeah.
Absolute nonsense. Ridiculous.
Get that on. Thanks everyone who joined in. We very much appreciate it. If you are in any way inclined to get involved in the baseball opening day on Thursday, go and listen to all our content. Meg and Dylan are doing the opening day pick show on Wednesday, and there will be a prop show as well. Scott and Adam are doing the MLB props straight after us on Wednesday night for opening day Thursday. Meg and Baz will be back with the FA Cup picks before we get a full slate of Premier League next midweek. Joe's asking about the African stuff. Oh, and the below average cook has just missed the entire cooking section. Turns up in the last 2 minutes. He's missed the entire recipes. We've had sourdough, we've had curry, we've had chili, we've had all sorts. So you'll have to go and listen back to that. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Like, rate, review. Keep an eye on the schedule for the next show. And we will see you all down the roads. Cheers.